All right, so thank you for following along. I've been working on the bike off camera, doing a little bit of work to the tail end. It was really old, sun faded, so what I did was just sanded down a little. I painted it, made it look a little nicer. Put a new tail light on it because the previous tail light was messed up. It was cracked. And so also I've been doing a little bit of eBay shopping. I mentioned previously that my radiator was messed up. What you find about these bikes, nobody is buying them or using them or fixing them, so parts are dirt cheap. I mean, I found this very nice looking radiator on eBay, shipped 25 bucks. I don't know what a radiator will be for a Hayabusa or a GSXR, whatever, but I mean 25 bucks for a radiator, come on, it's a super deal. It's just like the rest of the bike, everything's so cheap, and it's nice. It's nice to not be spending so much money on a project. So 25 bucks for a radiator, beat that. Thank you for following me. And this episode I'm going to focus on the rear end. I'm gonna get this thing rolling so I could roll it in and out, and I don't have to be pushing it around on a little dolly. So hopefully I'm gonna have it by the end of the episode. I'm gonna have it on its own wheels. So that's what I'm gonna focus on today. Hopefully we'll get it done. Thank you. So according to the manual, the bearing journals have to be tightened to 116 Newton meters. This works out to be around 118 foot-pounds. Sounds tight, but it is what it is, so let's get it done. Boom! So BMW calls these the threaded rings, and the right one is gonna be this thick one over here. It goes to the right side of the bike over there, and that's where our journal rides on. And apparently this goes to damn nearly the end of my torque wrench over here. The torque is going to be 157 foot-pounds. I checked these before I installed them. They're not crunchy, they roll pretty nicely. There's no reason for me to replace them. I'll just give it a little cleanup before I put it in, but this is good to go. I'm just giving it a little bit of love here before we put it in. So this is the tricky part of the process. You have this lock ring that has this Allen set key here, and so this doesn't go very tight at all. The problem is that there's a lock ring that goes on top of it, so you basically have to hold this while you tighten up the lock ring so that you maintain your preload on the bearing with the 7 foot-pounds that this is going to go in with, but you don't over tighten it when you're tightening the lock ring. So I'm going to do a little trick here. I think it should be okay, which basically is going to be me holding this as hard as I can and then tightening the lock ring as hard as I can with a wrench. I got really long wrenches, so it's a lot of pressure that I could put in there, and then just coming in at the end with my torque wrench and just bringing it home with the final torque. So let's do it. Put this baby in here and hold her. Now we're gonna come in with our socket, finish her up. This one goes to 118 foot-pounds. What do you know? We're done. Then you have to torque it. I got the torque with the wrench there. Done. Next up is our differential. I had to get this replacement unit shipped to me. It was also cheap. I don't remember how much I paid, but it was not a lot of money. It came from Germany actually. Very low mileage. Very low miles on this unit. I think it was something like 15,000 miles or something like that. But anyway, my old unit was pretty shot, and the bearings, this is a big problem with BMW. We're looking like this, which means that they're at the end of their life, my friends. When you have bearings that look like this, you better change them because you're gonna have an issue. So the new ones, I mean, they're used, but they still have some life on them. Eventually I'll get around to fixing that, but that's not a priority. So what I'm gonna do is just grease this up as much as I can and then mount her up. I'm using all-purpose grease. I use an old toothbrush, I like this, and we just mirror it in there. Make sure to rotate the bearing as much as you can. Alright, so the manual calls this journal out here the fixed bearing journal, and that one's supposed to be torqued at 118 foot-pounds. So this is supposed to be the free bearing journal, and that one's supposed to be torqued only at 5 foot-pounds, which is very, very little. The torque nut, the lock nut I mean, comes on top, and I'm gonna do my procedure on this one as well because it worked out so well on the last try. So the lock nut is supposed to be at 30 foot-pounds, and I got the suspicion that by doing my manual procedure I went over it, which is fine because it's just a lock nut, it's holding things in place. I'm gonna check the torque anyway, but we should be okay. Oh yeah, we're good. Good to go. So there she is, standing on her own 2 feet. There's obviously some things to be done. A caliper is just hanging there, pedals are missing. I gotta do a tune-up on it. I'm gonna have to replace the front suspension, it's shot on it. But we're getting there, we're definitely getting there. She's starting to look like a bike again, I like it.